Oh my god. We hit the jackpot, guys. 3-on-3, and it is the GamerLegion. Let's go look at this game. How can I not? How could I resist this, right? I had to. I was like, oh, Viper's playing. I wonder what he's up to. I hop in, and it's not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 members of GamerLegion. Oh, this one's going to be good. You know, I've been wanting to feature something other than just like 1v1s on the channel, and this is probably the best way to debut that I could imagine, right? Because most of the time we haven't been doing it, and the reason we haven't been doing it is because a lot of these games just feel one-sided, right? We tried it once on the stream before, I believe it was. We done a game with I think it was Viper, and I'm trying to think who he's playing with. Was it Grubby? I think it's Grubby, and it was 2v2, random matchmaking. And because they hadn't been playing 2v2s, right, they're not actually ranked correctly. It was just a complete and utter wash. It was memey. It was a little bit funny, but, like, the game went on, like, 10 minutes extra because obviously there's people like, me Viper fan, me Grubby fan, me love you, we didn't want to leave, right? So it was just kind of depressing to watch them lose. But this is going to be exciting, guys. So let's actually look at who we've got. So on one team, we're going to have France being manned by Daut. We've got the Mongols being manned by TaToH. And finally, it's going to be Nili on the English. Meanwhile, on the other side, we are going to have a Mongol player manned by Slam. Slam we haven't seen in a while, by the way. Viper is going to be on the Delhi. He's been loving Delhi life, right? We've been seeing a decent amount of Delhi out of him the last 2 days. And then rounding out is going to be Jordan on the Abbasids. So Jordan, in my opinion, kind of the outlier. I think like Abbasids haven't really been looking that great. And the only way I could feel like I could see them looking or feeling great in a team game would be if you were to do like a Ram Rush. I just don't necessarily expect that. I don't know if anyone wants to go for that cheesy of a win. Maybe we'll see an attempt on it, or maybe we'll see like a focus into a Castle Age and a big epic fight. But it's going to be here on a very open one, right? Like we got Dry Arabia and... Well, is this Dry Arabia? This one is... See, sometimes I have to double check because here's the deceitful part. I know we can change like the terrain, but it just feels weird to change the terrain to like a forest map and then call this a Dry Arabia. What? Last time I checked, Arabia didn't come with much grass, dude. But yeah, we are going to be in Dry Arabia, which means no water shenanigans going on. Fairly even open map. Something exposed on both sides. Let's see who can kind of take that edge. Because I would say that Team 8 here has a slight early game pressure lead, right? Like if you actually look at it, 6, as in the team with Viper, Jordan, and Slam, they went for a much more greedy opening. Having both the Delhi and the Abbasids on the same team is incredibly passive in the early game. Because even if you want to do like an early feudal kind of Ram Rush timing or sooner as the Abbasids, who's going to back you up in this, right? It's not like you all picked Abbasids and you're like, we gonna meme, see ya. Like, you're going to be doing it alone. And that means that 3 players could count you out. And while you will slow them down a bit, it's that whole cheesy concept of, like, when you see one Civ rush, it's usually to eliminate another member, like, of the game on the other team. And usually you're then done in the game yourself, right? The slight lead being that you're not out before they are. But I don't think we're going to see that here. Instead, opening, we are going to see the Council Hall being dropped on one side. Now, TaToH not ready yet for that tech up. And who else we've got? Slam. Slam is going to be going into Pro Scouts by the looks of it. He has actually dropped the stable. I like that play. He's the only one likely to play for it, by the way. I don't necessarily expect Delhi or Abbasids to be going for this. It's going to be cool to see how effective Pro Scouts is going to be on a map this big. Because remember, like we usually see it in 1v1s, it's 4 deposits of 70... not 70 gold. I was about to say gold. There's no Roost playing this. Of 7 deer, right? In this map, though, just a quick count. 2, 4, 6, 8... 10, 12? I think it's 12. Count the count. Makes sense, right? 2 per player. So if only half of these players play into it, that's a huge booster. And wow, TaToH not going for the deer stone. He's actually going to be a greedy boy. He's going for the silver tree. In fairness, there is a way to defend this. Look at Daut's location, right? Daut is quite nicely parked to kind of work with him to cover a trade route across, like, I'd say about a third of the map. That's a decent gathering, by the way. A third of the map is quite the influx of gold coming in on the returns. And meanwhile, you'll have Nili to kind of like Vanguard on the left side. So I think there's going to be a hard prioritization towards the center out of them. Meanwhile, I wouldn't be surprised if Team 6 here tries to weave around the edges more. Like, I could see the Abbasis expanding the southeast. Also, the Mongols might try to raid onto the southwest. And then the Delhis kind of occupy the center. And then you eventually push towards these sacred sites, right? But yeah, there should be a prioritization around here because these sacred sites... Remember, guys, all maps aren't generated evenly. And this is definitely one example. As you can see the sacred sites leaning actually slightly towards Team 8 here. By the way, apologies about these team numbers and the way they're listed. There is actually no way to change that around. I'm a little bit disappointed in that. I really hope we get an option. I've talked about this before. It's very odd that there's no option to simply order teams to be stacked next to each other. It would be much easier on your guys' eyes, but that's the way the cookie crumbles. Look at this, by the way. Wow. Team 8, every single one of them is up before Team 6 on the tech ups. I expected that with Nili. Like, I expected Nili to be behind a bit because he's playing as England, but maybe not the other two. So, a bit of a funky one in that regard. Meanwhile, Daut now up, is going into the Knights early. So, no intent to go into Scouts himself. Are we seeing any of them engage with Scouts, really? I didn't necessarily expect TaToH to do so. He's just going to be hardened to trade, right? And I won't ever expect England to do so. So, I feel like this is an advantage 6 is going to have. We're already seeing, actually, Horsemen coming out from Slam. So, no pro Scouts yet. That's kind of funky. Horsemen this early, though. A little bit paranoid about a longbow rush. Could give him an opportunity to raid some of the England's economy lines, but overall, just a very funky play. Question is, what else is going to be happening this one? Because the thing is, Team 6 can't be aggressive. We talked about Delhi. The thing is, Abbasis really struggle with being aggressive even if they want to, right? Like, you're not able to tech up as quickly courtesy of the way that House of Wisdom works. Usually you go eco-wing, which doesn't support yourself to early aggression. It supports you to eco-scaling. I expect, like, Delhi and Abbasid to be going for, like, double TC rush. And I wonder if 8 reads this and just raids them. I think that is also, by the way, why Slam went into this mobile force of Horsemen, which is amazing, is because he understands that he's actually carrying the early game for 2 other components of his team, right? For now, Knights not able to breach in. I like the fact that Jordan picked up a few Spearmen early. This is typically your opening. Like, you don't have any unique unit you want to play into otherwise, right? You don't really want to get your hands on the Camel Archers. They are the biggest pile of dung in the game right now. But if you don't bring enough spears, this is what's going to happen. And it looks like he's just going to lose the Archers. So it does skim away and just peel off in time that he doesn't lose the villagers. But right now, I'm interested in when Slam's going to go in here, right? I mean, he's moving across now, but I don't know if he's going to be able to expose any of this eco. Maybe you snipe 1 or 2 of these units, but I feel like it's too close to the TC. And this is my concern about going for the Horseman. I think for Slam, he's looking to control the mid-section of the map. He doesn't actually want to breach base. He just wants to make sure that no one else is sneaking across. The problem is that he's on the left side. This concept feels a bit more wonky when you're the left side flank player, unless you've got a right side flank player that does the same. But you don't. You've got an Abbasid player on your flank. This does mean, however, in the center, Viper is just vibing. Like, full-on just chill mode, right? He's not suffering at all. However, he might soon. This is the worry. Oh, my God, look at this move. So, snipes 1, really? Won't be able to get a second. This was a cool idea by Daut. If Daut brought, like, 2 or 3 knights here, he should understand that the central player, especially being in the Delhi player, isn't going to be guarded. Delhi players don't do anything to protect themselves. I do love this idea out of Viper, though. Look at this forward move. So he's dropping a stable center map, and he's going to be able to raid straight into France's economy. And the reason this is really smart is because French players don't defend themselves. We've highlighted that out of all the civs before, right? France is the one that most commonly puts in pocket economies. Pocket economies, for those that don't know, are eco areas that are out from your main infrastructure, right? They're undefended. They're usually, like, easier to raid. And France is the biggest culprit of doing this. And although he hasn't started doing it yet, you notice already, look at this gold vein, 13 people on it. And not a single outpost here to defend it. And now, more stables being dropped, so just trying to mass the critical number of knights. Meanwhile, in the base, raiding about. Got a few of these villages as well, but most of them looks like they're garrisoned in. Slam's going to lose most of his horsemen here. Not the biggest loss, because remember, half of these were actually expended courtesy of the Uvu Stone, so it wasn't just you wasting loads of food. That's why if you look, Slam almost has what he needs to actually tech up. In fact, Slam, despite fielding this early horseman army, is going to be one of the first to tech up the castle. Not ahead of Viper, mind you. Viper, who as you said, has not built any military units. But now with this stable, look what he was hoping to do, but will not be able to. He planted this. He was hoping it would go unnoticed. He wanted to get a war elephant next to his opponent's base. But great idea, is going to fail. Too many knights here. But I love that he's trying to make that play, right? It's very cheeky. I think he was anticipating his opponent was going to keep raiding on the right side. It looks like that's not the case, though. And it looks like the static force coming out from Jordan is going to be too late to try and protect the stable long enough to get an elephant out. Interesting part from Slam was he tried to raid so hard into England. If he just flanked more south, he would have actually found this, the greed factor, right? Because the difference between these two Mongol players is that Slam played for an early aggressive timer via the Deer Stone, while TaToH basically said, this game's going to take like another 20 minutes at least. I'm going to chill, I'm going to vibe, and watch my donkeys zoom. Okay, but not yet. They need to get some outposts before they zoom. And yeah, eyeballs on this now. So Jordan, he snitches. These spearmen, by the way, they do get bonus damage against the traders. Not so effective when they're running after them instead of like stabbing the ones coming at them. But they will eventually get one of these shivved down. Yeah, just look how hard that is. 28 damage per strike. Not able to do enough damage though. And someone else we don't see often that TaToH's doing here, Magadai. Magadai rarely ever come out, but it makes sense in this game, right? You don't have the Deer Stone early on to give you that Yam speed buff, and you've got a huge map ahead of you. So that kind of prowling factor, that moving around, that rapido, could kind of give you the edge to strike at possibly two very greedy economy-based civs, right, in the Abbasids and the Delhi. Speaking of economies, though, this is the bounce back, right? Slam, because it's going to be quick up into that Castle Age timing, the way you kind of balance this out, the way you make up for not going into Silver Tree yourself, is you will get all your gold out of Step Redoubt. Step Redoubt is incredibly powerful here, folks. For those unaware, it gives 50% additional gold on drop-offs. That's just fabricated out of thin air, right? That's the magician's trick. That's not coming out of the vein. That's turning like a 4,000 vein into a 6,000 vein, basically. One thing you do have to do, by the way, when you build it, make sure you select all of your villages and click the Step Redoubt. Otherwise, they will start dropping off at the Gur they were just working at. And that's what's happening for Slam right now. A little bit problematic there. Meanwhile, raids in the base. Oh no, Nili, he came across the longbowman as well. I mean, Viper, he's sending in the Tower War Elephant, but you need to be a little bit careful. These knights, they could potentially kill you. Remember, they get bonus damage upon hitting their charge. The 30 lance originally, and then the bonus damage. Yeah, look how quickly he can strike you down. So you've got to be really careful with positioning here. The longbowman not in position to snipe out the spears just yet. You could kind of gap close, but you need to be careful being zoned away by the elephant. There you go. Moves close enough that he's guarded. And you could raid in. I mean, you still could technically snipe out this elephant. It's just not worth it. The trade wouldn't work out well because of how expensive these knights are, remember. 100 food, 140 gold each. Sorry, 140 gold. 140 food, rather, 100 gold each. Not cheap. Looks like tech up is ready for TaToH. So TaToH ready to move on into the Castle Age soon. He's looking for a much later timing. I think he needs to start building a network of outposts towards the enemy base so he can utilize that Yam speed buff to like move in an army of man-at-arms quickly. Or more importantly, spears. I think his goal, his role in this game is to build spears to snipe out the War Elephants. Well, that War Elephant is now getting sniped out. They're charging. Daut baits him out. Doesn't quite finish what he started, though. Has to back away because the spears are coming in. Daut could lose a lot of these knights if he's not careful. Longbow's backing away. Nili, in the meantime, does reach up to the Castle Age. Remember, this was like his primary longbow army. He didn't build much else. He did go for the White Tower, and this is a peculiar choice. White Tower like this, I'm not sure if it's that critical. If you had 3 TC stacked here, courtesy of choosing to go for the King's Palace, you'd boom up your economy, and also they'd protect each other. The White Tower is a decent tool. I'm not sure this is the game to use it in when all the aggression's on the right side of the map. But I think that's what's convincing him it's worthwhile, is Nili is paranoid that with all this attention dragging to the right side, he could become exposed on the left when he knows that directly across from him, that's where the Mongol player is, and the Mongol player who has the ability to now start pushing lances. And Treacle is going to continue. Is he able to use his Magadai now? This might be the first aggressive move we've seen out of TaToH. So far, kind of just been on the defensive, defending his caravan lines. That caravan line now, by the way, is up to 26. So he's unlocked all the tiers. And remember, that means that each of these, look at the returns. 147 gold, 13 food, and 13 wood. Plenty of gains to be had here. And the cool thing, by the way, about doing this, one player doing this in this game, is that he's going to keep getting infinite economy. He's generating something. He's not taking a finite resource, right? It's not like this berry bush that dries up, this wood line. And as a result, it means that his other two players, if this goes ultra late game, will always have something to get themselves, right? Like, if they drain their initial area, TaToH can be like, that's fine. Come to my base. Take my crap, right? Like, I've got 60, 70 traders. I'm getting my resources there. You guys need this more than I do. And that's the cool kind of transferal effect that can occur in a team game when one of the players prioritizes trade. I don't think you should ever have multiple players prioritizing trade because it leaves you very weak in the early mid game. And that's something that the other team might exploit. Raid in. Daut. What's he going to find here? Viper. He has a lot of exposed economy. And if this gets spotted out, he's going to lose a lot of troops. Lol. Zone them away. War Elephant's moving in as well. Now, Viper, this is a good play up, but it means he's exposed everything at his back. Viper, what is the count right now? If we look at this, Viper, 34. Compare that to, like, Slam up at 47. 56. Viper has been losing too many, and Daut, he doesn't see it! Oh my god! If he had spotted this, 20 villagers being sniped at this stage would just shut Viper's economy completely out. But instead, he saves himself and is able to aggress in with the War Elephants and the assistance of Jordan here. And even Slam now arriving the Lancers. So they're looking for the clean sweep, right? They're not engaging on multiple fronts. They're not pushing across the map at different angles. They're just sweeping right and then pushing down. Understanding that you've got static forces coming out from the middle and right side, whereas the Lancers are mobile enough that Slam can run them from left side of map with the Yam speed as well and get across in time to create this composite force to rush in. And that's what they're doing. In onto the TC. Who needs Rams when you've got War Elephants? Should stick that on a shirt. But if you do need Rams, Jordan's there with them as well. Remember, he gets the ability to do this by default, being the Abbasids. And this TC is looking undefended. Lancers chasing in onto the Knights. They are outnumbered. Slam getting a bit greedy here. He's going to back up for the moment. More War Elephants are arriving. No aggressive move just yet. Meanwhile, back in the base, Daut trying to find value before he gets eliminated. And Nili is here as well. They're trying to snipe out any of these War Elephants moving out, right? Trying to put a dent into what is remaining of Viper's economy. They have been pressuring him heavily so far in this game. And he has been shut out, so he's got to deal with whatever he's got on the front line, which right now is just 3 of these War Elephants. Even positioning the Scholar here. He's looking for the cheeky play. Conversion isn't ready for 20 more seconds, though. The TC, however, is not only on fire, it is down. And as soon as you come out, imagine how many villages you could lose here. So he has to engage. He stacks right on top of the War Elephants, and this is not good for him. Spears are going to pinch in between them. And he's going to lose most of the cavalry here. And it looks like Lance is backing up for the meantime. Magadai, remember, they're very squishy. 105 health against the War Elephants. It is nothing. And Daut, this is going to be him out of the game. If this landmark falls, remember, he never teched up. He never went castle. He just rushed Knights and spammed them perma. And that's why he's rushing to repair it. They have to hold here. They have to keep in the game. You don't want to be 2 versus 3. You had no way of getting Viper out because you could never siege through his base. And although you have been raiding the eco lines of 2 players here, you're going to be 2 versus 3 regardless at this rate. And that's why they push in. Another War Elephant down. Ram still here and an Elephant as well. It means they can still take out the School of Cavalry. But the crossbows here, they are slicing through this War Elephant like a hot knife through butter. And it looks like they might have done it. They might have actually kept Daut alive. But the wraparound, the stab from the back Slam. He renews the Lancer line straight in on top of the archers and the crossbowmen. And Nili's assistance is all but gone. And this battering ram is all but unanswered. And once these villages go down, it'll be slow, but they'll be able to get Daut out. They need more troops here, and they need them now. And there we go. TaToH building 4 archery rangers, trying to get troops in here as quickly as possible. These Lancers, they need to deal with the villagers. I love this play out of TaToH. Remember, you can repair allied structures, and that's what he's doing. He's keeping his teammate in the game. What a play. Are we looking here? Are there any reinforcements coming out? Jordan, he's moving archers across. He had to go back to Viper's base to try and clean up what was actually harassing onto the eco lines of Viper. And that's why we didn't see any more War Elephants for a while now. And it might slow things down long enough that Daut could recover. Daut, how many villages has he got? Has he actually got any? He's got 17. Yeah, he's had 17 hiding back. This is good. It means he'll be able to rebuild his TC. Very important detail here. Where are they right now, though? Okay, they're kind of on straggler farms at the back here. So yeah, basically, town's being raided, told all the kids to go hide in the forest. They've grown up, and now they need to rebuild the village. A good attempt to try and get an opponent out, but a fail in the end. However, the damage is done, right? If we look at the eco comparisons, Viper, 26 compared to Daut, sitting at that 17 mark. And then if we look across at Jordan, Jordan didn't get hit as hard, 53 still. And he didn't even TC boom. This is just one, right? Oh, there you go. Actually, yeah, he did in the end. He did go for a second. So he snuck out. I think this was after he got struck by the Knights, lost 4 or 5 of the Villies. He realized he needed to replace them quicker. So he's going to be booming past. Now, Daut is a huge liability. Because remember, Daut, they needed him strong to protect the right flank, to protect the caravan route TaToH. But now, Daut, the one that needs en masses of protection, right, is going to have to come up against 3 more players assault in the next 2-3 minutes. In fact, it might even be sooner. This time they say, if we're going to go in with battering rams, we're going to do it with the correct quantity this time. And these Magadai, remember, this is bad. You can't get in range of this. Magadai do not trade well against the archers. The only upside for him right now is Jordan is somewhat weaker than he should be, courtesy of the fact that he still hasn't teched up. He was so invested into that move that he never actually made it up to castle. In fact, him and Daut are the only 2 players that have failed to go up to castle. In fact, TaToH could easily go up to Imperial Age. Look at this surplus. 4,000 gold? Yeah, there's the trade across. He wants Imperial Age. He's a thirsty boy, and he can easily achieve it. Meanwhile, Deerstone moving up, Slam trying to juice up his comrades on the front. That could be the edge here. Nili, his forces are static, right? And TaToH's playing out of position away from that boost of the Yam. So you could get caught off guard and complete out of position in the blink of an eye. Here we go. In they go again, but the TC has been rebuilt this time. Spearman right in. With the Rams, looking to work through this quickly. This time, even Slam building some Rams. And Scholar's also brought to the front. So Viper, they understand that this time they need to take out Daut. They can't have this fail a second time. It would put them too far behind that of TaToH, who they understand has been going into the trade, right? So he's been actually scaling. And there we go. School Cavalry already done so quickly. That was the thing that held them back last time. It took too long. But now the TC, remember, the TC is much more tanky. 7k health compared to the 5. But with this many battering rams, they don't have the answer. They need to reach the battering rams, but there's no way to do so. And look, War Elephants, they move in on the Magadai, and they get rid of it. And Daut is going to be out in the blink of an eye. A good attempt to recover. They tried to get him back in this game, but too much damage done on the first onslaught leads into the second onslaught and ensures that he is out for the count. 1 enemy down now. Daut is out, and now the problem is that TaToH, he built this military infrastructure on the front. Yes, you can mobilize it elsewhere, but I doubt he's going to do that. And more importantly, if he does, he's going to expose all of his economy. Remember how much of this for him is coming out of trade. And look how accessible it is now for Jordan and his teammates. Like, they can literally just stab all of this right now. Here you go, moving down. And all you have to do is park yourself here now, because he has nowhere else he can trade with, right? Nope. And every single one of these dying. Look at TaToH's numbers right now. 2.6k gold per minute. Watch this sink in the next minute. And War Elephants do not care about Magadai, my friend. TaToH, he's so desperate to protect himself. He's like, you can't kill me. I'm Imperial Age. Doesn't matter. Elephants say no. Right now, all these traders are saying, oh no. That number sinking by 500 already. It's just going to get lower and lower. Before you know it, it's going to be dipping lower than Christina Milan. That was a Boomer reference if I ever done one. Ay, ay, ay. He needs to hold here. The bombards, the cannon, the natural predator of the elephant, but I don't know if it's going to be good enough in such a small quantity. The War Elephants, they charge in deeper. They want to get splinters. And they will do exactly that. The bombard's gone. War Elephants are still standing. TaToH surrenders. It looks like they're all tapping out. Nili right now is like, what? We're fine. I've got farms. I'm England. I'll be in the Imperial Age soon. It doesn't matter, Nili. It's all but over. He tried to keep rushing to Slam's base, but it's all for naught. They're all going to call GG. What a game coming out from the GamerLegion boys. 3-on-3. And you know what? It delivered. It was fun. It wasn't just a cheesy rush in the end. There was a back and forth feel to it. But Daut, after that first bout, just seemed to be a little bit too far behind. And after that, well, it just seemed to cruise on through, right? The back and forth slog, the constant ramming. Never able to find that raid value. I liked the idea by Daut early on. And they did actually, you know, kind of breach at points. They found some of that economy. I think the big difference, actually, when we look back at that one, is the moment where Viper, his 20+ villages out of his base do not get spotted by the roaming knights. I think if Daut snipes that, Viper's economy is eradicated. He's lower than Daut is when Daut's rebuilding. And at that stage, you can't actually keep pushing these war elephants out. And you could possibly lose the game. It could completely turn around. But that tells you the importance of vision, right? And how just having one scout out in the field can completely change the game. And it would have here. It would have actually given Team 8 a way to bounce back in this. But damn, that was a fun one. Honestly, if they start doing more of that, I'll watch more of that. Because that's much better than the stomps we just see, right? Where one person clearly shouldn't be in the game, right? Where you're like, oh, it's Daut and Viper versus insert random person who's like not even in the top 50,000 on 1v1s, right? Those ones are memey. They're kind of funny, but they're also sad. This one, however, was really fun to watch. So hopefully we get more of them. And if you want to see more of them, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Make sure you're following it because we cover plenty of action-free videos a day and plenty more to come. But thank you for watching.